we've got Bianca and Anthony with Selfless Creative. They're going to talk about their story. So,
hello, my name is Anthony Quiterio.
And I'm Bianca Padilla.
And we own Selfless Creative Company. Basically what we do is photography, videography, web design, and graphic design. And up here is our sample of our website. And it's been super fun to be able to start this business. It's been amazing. It's been a learning experience, and it's been such a blessing to just be here in Cruces, and we've had so many people that support us and always have our back with the things that we need. So we just wanted to share with you all 10 tips that we believe are essential in starting your own business. So number one, tell everyone what you do. So obviously not everyone's going to know what you do if you don't tell them, you know. So a good example that happened with us, with our company, is I was working at the college radio station at the time, and Adrian Bautista, who works at the Student Foundation, approached us, and he was looking for someone to do videography. And we had just started, but we had some videos under our belt. So I showed him what we were doing. He was loving our style, and that's exactly what he wanted for the Student Foundation for their fundraiser videos. So we went ahead and signed a contract with that. But had I not told him, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're about, this is what we can help you do, we would have never gotten that contract. And so tell everyone, no matter where you're at, what you do and how you do it. It's your passion, it's your drive, it's what you want to do for the rest of your life. So tell everyone what you're doing, and you really don't know what people need until you ask them. For example, we were at a wedding this weekend, and we were sitting at the table in the hour that we get in between to eat, and we actually so happened to be sitting next to the VP of Finance at El Paso Electric. But had we not, talked to him and telling him what we do and how we're doing it, we would have never known that he was the VP of Finance. So it's just, you'd be surprised the amount of opportunities you get simply by being kind and smiling and telling people what you're doing.
All right, number 2 is mindset. So you always need to have the mindset before you even start your business that you know you want to succeed. If you don't think that you can succeed, nobody, your investors, your potential clients, nobody will believe that you succeed unless you think you can first. So you always need to be speaking almost in a future tense when you're talking to your clients. So say, when I deliver this, when you get your, for us, when you get your photos back, you're going to love them. When you get your, whatever it is, your products that you're pushing or whatever it is that you're doing, you need to have that mindset that they are already going to love it before they've even purchased it, before they've even had it. Because, if you don't think that you're going to succeed, people will pick up on that. People will pick up that you're not confident in what you're doing. And without that confidence, no one will put their money into you or put their investment into you unless you're completely confident in what you're doing.
Yes. Number 3, and this is a tough one, it's sacrifice. So when you start your own business, when you're going 110% into what you're doing, you have to sacrifice time, a social life, your spare time, and days off. Because when you're owning your own business, you really don't have a boss, so you can't be mad at yourself when you have to work 40 hours plus, every single day, and it's hard you only can get mad at yourself. But you really do. You have to sacrifice time. There's no days off. And it's because you have to give it your 110% always. Because if you don't do that, who else is going to do that? You are your company, you are your business, you are everything in that. So you're part of that. And you need to push yourself to do better and to always give it your all. And with that, with sacrifice comes making responsible choices. So there's a lot of times when friends will text us and be like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? We want to go out and do this. And then it's tempting to say like, oh yeah, we want to, sure, we'll go to the bar and do whatever. And they'll ask us for that. And sometimes, most of the times we have to say, no, we can't. We're sorry, because we can't call in. If we had a little bit too much the day before, we can't call in and say, hey guys, we can't do that because we're hungover. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. It's just not. It's going to reflect badly on your business because it's going to reflect badly on you. If you can't work, then you can't eat. Like if you're not working 110% being efficient, then it's going to be hard for you to provide for yourself and provide for your business as well.
All right, number 4, there is never a right time. So I think this is really important because when we were first starting, we were like, all right, well, you know, in 6 months we'll be in a place where we can leave our jobs. Maybe in a year we'll have a studio. There's always a reason to not do it, and it's always better to just do it. It's always going to be scary. You're never going to feel comfortable starting out and leaving everything. It's going to be uncomfortable, and the first couple months are going to be really scary. But if you don't do it, you're never going to know your full potential, where you could actually go. And I mean, for us, you know, or if you have a product, right, and you're like, maybe if I wait 6 months, you know, my prototype will finally be ready, and it just needs a little bit more work. I mean, yes, you can wait, but what happens if you don't? What happens in 6 months that you wear yourself out, and you get tired, and you just give up? It's better to just do it, jump into it, and it's never going to feel comfortable. But once you actually do it, and you realize, okay, hey, I'm actually doing this. I can actually do this. There's always going to be 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't or why you should wait, but don't wait. You know, there's never going to be a right time.
Exactly, and with that, it brings us to number 5. Our number 5 tip: ignore people who don't believe in you. You just have to. There's going to be people, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're providing a service, a product, if you're an inventor, people are going to tell you can't do it, just because that's just the mentality a lot of people have. But we're entrepreneurs. We're people who want to inspire other people. We want to work hard. We have a different mindset than everyone else. So, of course, people are not going to see it the way you're going to see it. And all you have to do is, and it's tough, but you have to, it's weed out negativity. You just have to get rid of those people in your life that are telling you things that aren't going to push your business. If you're not part of the vision, then get out. You know, if people aren't trying to push you to do better, then you just have to simply push them out. Because if you keep them around, it's like, you have a weed, they're soaking up all the water, and you're not going to grow. You just have to weed it out and get them out. And it's been really hard to do that with our business and in our personal lives, but we've noticed that when we do it, we flourish. So it's very important to weed out negativity. Just some people that we look up to is like Steve Jobs and Oprah. They told them since the beginning that they weren't going to do it. They told Steve Jobs, you can't do that. No one wants a personal computer. You know what I mean? No one wants a fancy looking, MacBook. But if it wasn't for him, if he would have stopped, he would have listened to those people who were trying to bring him down, I wouldn't be editing on my MacBook Pro. So it's like it's very important to kick those people out of there, because they're not going to push you to keep going. Surround yourself with people who are positive. Surround yourselves with other entrepreneurs. So they're successful. They're going to share that mindset. They're going to share tips and tricks with you to help push you. So it's very important to just kick them to the curb.
So number 6 is set goals. So setting goals is really important, because if you don't have a clear understanding on where you want to go, you're never going to get there. So not only do you need to have short-term goals, but you also need to have long-term goals. So for us, when we were first starting out, before we even had our studio, one of our goals was to get a studio. And we worked towards that. And we also have our long-term goals that we are working towards. So you've got to know where you want to go, so that way you can push to get there. Otherwise, you're going blind. Another thing is to celebrate your small victories. So maybe you're pushing towards one of your goals and you're not there yet, but hey, like maybe someone liked your Facebook page, or maybe someone shared something for you and you're getting, a little feedback off that. You need to celebrate that. You need to celebrate your small, little victories along the way, instead of, because it can get discouraging if you're in like a tough spot and maybe you haven't sold anything in a while, or you haven't booked anything in a while. But don't get discouraged. Celebrate what you can, and keep looking forward towards your goals. One thing we also do is write down our goals and put them somewhere where you can see them. So you're constantly reminded every day, this is what I'm working towards, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. You just make sure you're setting goals so you know where you want to go.
Exactly. With that, identify your market. So knowing where you wanted to go, the next step is knowing who you wanted to target with your products, with your clients. You have to know who you're trying to target and who you want your target audience to be. A tool that we like to use, and Bianca's a genius at it, is Google Analytics. that's a tool that is awesome for your business. It tells you the people that are looking at your website, if they have an iPhone, a tablet, whether they're looking on it even tells you like what internet provider they have. Like it's very, very important to know that, because that helps you curate your brand towards your target audience. That helps you make more sales. That helps you grow your market even more. So before you do that, yeah, you have to know who you're trying to target. Also, for us, and it's something that we've learned just along the way, like know your city and know their income, because sometimes, and it's for us, we're doing photography where we live in a city where the income isn't as high as bigger cities. So you really have to know what the income is there, because if you overshoot it, then you're gonna lose potential sales, because it's just not the income there. So know where you're at and know their income and target them in that sense. And at the same time, don't limit yourself to just your city, your hometown, or the country even. Don't just say, oh, we're going to just be in Las Cruces and that's it. And that's fine and it's awesome. But to push yourself out more. It's 2017. We live in the internet age, and you can promote yourself all over the world.
Yeah, which is good leading into social media, which is number 8. It's important to be on all aspects of social media. Maybe, you might not be a photographer, but you still should be on Instagram. You still should be using different targets, because maybe a mom is more likely to see your information on Facebook, but the younger generation might be more inclined to see it on Instagram. So it's important that you're marketing across the board to everyone that's on your social media. Along with that, you can reach a ton more people on social media. For instance, for us, we got a gig from Fort Worth, Texas. They saw our stuff on Instagram, loved us, paid for our expenses to go out to photograph them in Fort Worth, Texas. So not only is it important to be on social media, but you can also be picking up clients from completely out of your area because of it. We recently got to work with Justin Darling from Golf Iconic, and he curates all of his Instagram with all of his work, all of his golf clubs, all of his work. And because of that, he actually got a private message from a pro golfer that was interested in placing an order with him. So he was approached by a pro golfer because he was posting on his Instagram. So as little as it might seem, you can reach huge audiences with social media. So it's really important that you're on there and that you're using all of them. Our next one, our number 9, is community over competition. So we think that it's really important that no matter what you're in, you need to find a mentor that is also in that sense. So for me, I personally have 2 mentors that are photographers that have made it, worked with huge people, and they are helping me, taking me under their wing and teaching me things. And we think that's important in any aspect of your business. A lot of people get worried, they get concerned, like, oh, well, if I reach out to this business, they're technically my competition, why would they help me? But who better to learn from than actually somebody who has already done it? They're already making it, they're already there. They can give you all of these tips and help you out in the sense that nobody else could. So it's really important to do that. And one relationship that we've established with technically a competition in town is with Palomar Productions. They're doing exactly what we're doing, photography and videography, and instead of seeing them as a competition, we grow together. We tell each other, hey, we noticed this when we're filming. How would you guys approach that? How would you guys take this step to do that? And we grow from each other because we're teaching each other our own tips. And it's really important that you find a mentor in anything that you're doing, whatever kind of business that you run. Reach out to people. Maybe not everyone is going to take you in because, of course, like I said, some people are a little stubborn and don't have that mindset. But I promise there will be somebody who will take you in, and that'll give you more growth than anything else that you'll see.
Yes. And this is our number 10 tip, and it's one of our favorites, and it's don't stop learning. I wanted to open up today by saying thank you guys for coming in, and like you guys are the real stars here. You guys need to give yourselves a round of applause because you're here, you're learning. You could be anywhere else, but you're not. You're here learning about starting a business, and you're here to push yourselves, and that's so important. You're here and you're ahead of the game already. You already established that. You're already on your way to success simply by being here, by learning. So don't ever stop learning. I know for like wedding videos and wedding photography, there's thousands of webinars. So we watch webinars like every single weekend. If you just Google whatever business you're in, webinar, I guarantee you there's probably thousands of videos of people just doing this, telling people like yourselves, like us, their opinions and their tips on how to succeed. And it's awesome. It's so awesome. That information is great, you know, and you can use it to further your business to amazing heights. Don't ever be satisfied with where you are. Always be learning and keep pushing yourself and your company. And we're still learning. You know, we don't know everything. You know, we're blessed to have people that we've been contracted with, like Studio G and like Arrowhead Center, who are teaching us stuff while we're doing this. We're learning so much just by surrounding ourselves with people like them, and they're teaching us things. And we personally, we never want to just say, oh, we know it all, because we don't, and we never will. No matter if we're making $2.6 million on one thing, it doesn't matter. You know, you're always going to want to learn. Always push yourself to keep learning, because that just creates a bigger world for yourself and your business and bigger opportunities. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you for listening to us. I think we're going to open up for questions, right? So thank you very much.
So I'd start with a question of, so how'd you two start working together and how'd this business get started?
Well, so we started, we were both doing like internships and freelance stuff on the side. And we started dating, and I hadn't started like doing any business stuff yet. I was in school for like marketing and advertising. So I was like, well, why don't you start like charging people for your photos? Like, if you need me to, I'll go and pitch, you know, like I don't care, like I'll help you pitch if you need it. And that's kind of where it started from there. And then I had always done video, I just hadn't sold it yet, so we kind of packaged everything together, and that's where it kind of grew from there, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of were doing just stuff because it was our passion. You know, we were doing it for free and helping out our friends who might need a video for something. And I think, you know, having passion first and then going into a business is a really good thing. You need to love what you're doing, for sure. And yeah, we started doing it, and then we're like, wow, we should charge people for this. So we kind of went from there.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and also on top of that too, we just like, all right, well, we're gonna keep learning how to run our own business too. So as soon as we started thinking about that, we hit the internet, webinars, how to start your own business. Like we just went crazy, you know, like every day, just watching hours on hours on hours of webinar help. So that gave us like the big confidence to just do it.
Oh, sure. So one of our biggest goals is we've named actually a few brands that we want to work with, that we will work with someday. So that, and then also being travel photographers. So there's people that get booked for destination weddings, right? So people will pay for you to go and photograph their wedding in Europe or in whatever country. So that's another one of our really, really big goals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, video work for like Nike, and like we have them like written out for sure. Like we have them written out in our house. We put them in the bathroom, in the kitchen. Like
we have them on our bathroom mirror.
Yeah, we have like a big thing that says Urban Outfitters video shoot on. Well, I don't remember the date, but yeah, it's like
it sounds silly, but it's important to remind yourself of those daily, because you know you got to keep it top of your mind and remember why you are doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
When you set up your goals, are they like concretely fixed, or you have several then like floating, you know, approximately what is it, but not exactly? Or?
Exactly. I think that's the beautiful part about it. So you could sometimes we'll just be at dinner and be like, hey, that'd be sweet, that'd be an awesome goal, let's throw that up there.
Yeah.
But that, you know, that evolves too. We start thinking more about it, and that'll evolve to like smaller goals from there to lead up to it. So it's like, that's what the fun part about it is too, is you could throw anything up there, and you see it and you believe it and you start doing it. And it's funny how like those little things, like little tiny things, start working up to accomplishing that goal. And just seeing it, we'll start like getting like work that we know will help us with that big goal at the end, you know? So it's just like seeing that and then having that up there, and then you establish all these smaller goals from there, and it'll, you know, you just work your way up to it.
Yeah, I think just having a good list.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, you know, what order they're in or anything. Just write down, you know, short term. Maybe this is what I can accomplish this year. By the end of 2017, maybe I want to have this stuff done. But in 10 years, I want to be here. And then you can look at it and say, what can I do today that can get me one step closer to getting there? And from there, you know, you can figure it out. It might be little tiny things that get you there, but you'll get there. And like I said, put them everywhere. Make yourself see them. Set timers on your phone to go off to remind you about them. Because it's easy to forget. You're busy, you know, if you're in school, you're busy working on other things and doing other things that you can lose track of, you know, what you really want to do. And so it's important to keep that for yourself and remind yourself where you want to go.
Something cool that we learned from webinars is something called a visual board. And it's like, you can cut out like logos from magazines, or you can cut out like different symbols that represent your goals, and putting them on that board and seeing that will help your mentality and push yourself to get to get to those goals. And it's just like that constant repetition in your own head, and the constant repetition of your eyes seeing your goals in the future that like really kind of set up the smaller ones to get there. So thanks for the question.
Can you talk about a challenge that you had in the course of setting up?
Yes. Time management.
Time
For sure.
management has been our biggest challenge, because you know, we're used to a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday. So that was when we worked, we had our weekends, and that was it. So now that we own our own business, every day we've been working. And I think our biggest challenge is making time to edit. Like sometimes we'll have production days 5 days out of the week, and then a wedding on Saturday, and then we have 0 days to edit. So it's important for us, that we've learned to manage your time appropriately.
Yeah, well, even like manage your like work time too. Like it's kind of like schedule, production. You're like, oh wait, you know, we didn't set up that like a few days to like edit what we're shooting. So that's been like a really big challenge that we're still trying to overcome that. You know, we're still trying to figure out our time and how we're gonna do it. But we've been noticing that just simply telling ourselves, no, we can't work that day. Like we can't. We have to set that day apart, and it hurts because sometimes, you know, we've had to say no to a couple opportunities because we're too stressed out to handle that. You know, so
another challenge that I'm thinking of as well is it's important to know that you kind of almost can't do everything. So for us, one challenge we recently had is we hired an accountant because we were thinking, you know, when we first applied for our tax ID and our business license and all of that, they're like, oh, you can take these classes and you'll learn how to do everything on your own. And we're like, okay, great, then we don't have to hire an accountant. Well, we've been too busy to go to the classes. We've been too busy trying to get everything to our clients that we don't have time for that. And I think it's really important if you're starting your own business. You know, for us, we're photographers, we're videographers. Accounting really isn't our strong suit. Maybe it's better that we pay somebody and give somebody else that obligation instead of trying to do everything for ourselves. And I think that's really important business-wise to know, you know, maybe I can't do everything, and maybe I should trust this person who went to school for that to do that part of my business. But I think, you know, when it is your business, you want to do everything and you want to be a part of everything, but also letting go of that and letting somebody else take the reins of something is really important too.
Yeah, well, we do what we do because we don't like math. So, just kidding. But yeah, exactly like what Bianca said. It's you have to kind of like learn to let that part go if you want things to be done correctly and correctly the first time. Because especially with accounting, like if you mess up, the IRS is gonna pat you on the back and say, "Oh, maybe next time." Like it's like really scary, and that's super scary. So we'd rather hand that off to someone who really that's their passion. That's that's what they like to do. So why not let them do it?
It's really easy as an entrepreneur just to get blinded by passion and forget about what you want to make money and things like that. And especially with artists. So how do you guys manage that?
That's a great question.
As someone emerged as like the business leader.
Yeah, that's a super good question, because so we're really into Instagram. That's like our like visual resume, right? So people look at our Instagram, they're like, oh man, their work is cool, right? I want to hire them. And there's like this really big like culture on Instagram where we're adventure photographers and that's all we do, like that's all they post about, and that's what people kind of in our industry want to do. They're like, oh well, that wedding photographer only goes and shoots in Malibu, but like that's like that mentality needs to change, because we sometimes get discouraged with, we're not doing shoots like out in Malibu and we can't post them all the time. But that's because that's just what that person posts. So it's like you could still do all this artistic things, and like you were saying, like yeah, you have to do some work that isn't necessarily like artwork, but it pays the bills, and with like posting and posting that on your Instagram, it kind of like you could set that up on your own, right? This is kind of something that we were talking about. Like you can post all of your own like really like artistic stuff and everything that you're pushing towards, and you kind of have to keep it separate from your own artistic kind of value thing, and then your business one. I think is very important to keep them.
And I think, I mean, mainly for us too, there is an aspect or a genre that we want to photograph all the time. But, however, those shoots don't make us a lot of money. And there's shoots that we have to do that are not boring headshots, but in a sense boring headshots, but are paying our bills. So, I mean, as much as you want to have certain kind of gigs, I think you also have to have your mind open to take work that might not be ideal for what you want in your portfolio, but you take it because it helps pay your rent. Right,
and when you do get those opportunities, you curate that and put that into your portfolio, because in that people look, it kind of just like narrows down your target audience, right? So like, yes, we want to go do destination weddings. So when we do get destination photography, we throw it up on our site like right away, because that's who we're trying to attract. That's our target audience. That's what we want. So you take it's like you take the gigs that pay your bills, and then you promote what you want to do. So thank you for the question. Any other questions?
I got another one. What do you wish you knew when you started?
A lot.
Yeah, I wish. Let's see.
I mean, definitely. I think when we were starting it, we didn't realize the time that it was actually going to take. Definitely coming from someone, we both worked 9-to-5 jobs. That's what you're used to as work, right? So working all of those jobs almost all my life, that's what you're used to, and that's how you think it's going to go. But when you start your own business, it is all day, every day. So, I mean, that is a big one. We didn't realize how much time it would actually consume versus just having a 9-to-5.
Right. Well, like, I think we had this idea, like, we knew we were going to have to work a lot. We're going to have to work our butts off, right? But like, we totally underestimated the amount of like, even just like spare time, because like spare time now is work time. It's weird.
Yeah, spare time.
It's awesome, but it's also like, wait, we used to have like this little bit of time in the day to do something But now we're using that time to
edit.
work. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of something we wish we knew.
Yeah, and also having or giving the ability to not do it all, like how I was explaining with like accounting. I think in a sense I had it in my head that when you're a business owner, you do everything. And in a sense you kind of do, but yeah, you definitely shouldn't do everything.
Yeah, because like when we first started, we're like, oh, you know, we'll do all the filing and taxes and stuff like that. We could do it all. Until we started getting a ton of business, and we're like, oh, maybe we don't. Maybe we want to mess with that because we don't want to mess anything up. So that's something, yeah, we wish we would have known at the beginning that like it's okay not to do everything yourself. It's okay to hand the work off to somebody else because that's what they're meant to do. So
yeah, and also, you know, if any of you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of Studio G, but they have a lot of programs that can help you out if you are starting a small business. And take advantage of it because not a lot of people, you know, maybe they aren't at New Mexico State, maybe they're in Albuquerque. They might not have the same opportunities that you guys have here. And take advantage of everything that they can help you with because, yeah,
it's an amazing
you
program.
want to focus on your business and growing it and, you know, allowing other people to take over in the places that you can't is really important.
There's a lot of equipment involved in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you budget for upgrading?
So actually when we first started, we had 2 cameras and no lights, nothing. We were very bare on equipment. And you know, we had in our goals, you know, we need to get studio lights, we need to get
backdrops.
We need to get backdrops, we need to get a Steadicam, we need to get a drone. We needed all these things, but of course you can't have those things until you have money, right? So we set aside money. You know, every gig we had, every wedding we had, we put away a little bit, and we knew that we were working towards that goal. But it's small steps, you know. Unless I do know that there's also people who take out loans for that. We were trying to go without a loan for us, but taking out a loan for some people, especially as a photographer, is a really good idea because you need all those things, and drones are really expensive, and backdrops and Steadicams are really, really expensive. So sometimes taking out a loan is the best solution for some people, but for us, you know, we just did it little by little. We focused on one piece of equipment that we wanted, and then we bought it, and then we kept saving until we were able to purchase the next piece of equipment.
we made it work. We adapted ourselves into using, like, there was times when we didn't have the Steadicam, right? So I would look around during a shoot and find a rolling chair, and I pray to God my camera doesn't fall on the ground, you know, but like extremely careful because you know you got to get the shot. And so I used a rolling chair for I don't know how many shots, but that just kind of upped our work to get to that level, and then you could charge more for that. So it's like adapt to what you have, know what you have, and you know, just try your best to use what you got to use. And
also, there's also really great places that rent equipment as well. So if it's out of your budget, definitely, you know, even for other businesses, there's other businesses that rent out equipment for businesses. So
yeah, there's like monthly payments too. I know people do that as well.
Best Buy offers payment plans too.
So that's important to really configure. Yes.
Where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
Well, we're hoping, you know, we are a creative company, we're hoping to hire more creatives. We hope in 10 years that we have staff. We have, you know, we walk into the office and there's 5 or 6 other designers, photographers, creatives that are helping build our brand, and we can take on more projects because we have more people. So definitely hiring staff is one of our really, really big goals.
I think our ultimate goal too is we want to work with NMSU as well to get, because there's so many talented people in this city. Like, the city is filled with talent, and we just need a place where they can go and get their feet wet in doing design and photography and video, and that's what we want to be. We want to be that place here in Las Cruces, so we can get these creatives right out of college or in college to get some experience, to get some real world experience, so that way when they leave the city, if they want to, they have that work for themselves. They have that work to show other companies like, hey, you know, I didn't just do a school project. I worked with like this company and this company with Southwest Creative. So we just want to eventually, like you were saying, in the next like 5-10 years, we want to be that place where people can go to school and then come out and have a really awesome resume. So that's what that's like a really big passion of ours, is to help other creatives and how people start their own businesses too.
Yeah, maybe more locations too.
Yeah.
What made you guys want to start a business in social media?
Well, I did work for somebody else, and it was an experience. I actually worked a year here in town for a company called Digital Solutions, and I did web design and graphic design and photography for them. However, my experience was a little difficult there. I wasn't getting paid on time, and then I had other stuff happening, so I learned a lot, and it honestly was a really great experience for me. But I think that I was seeing personally clients treated how I wouldn't want to treat them. And so I think it was important for me to get out of there and really bring the customer service that I wanted to bring to my clients and bring the quality of work that I wanted to bring to my clients. And, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, true, and same for me. I mean, I've always wanted to start my own business. I've always wanted to have my own marketing company and my own agency, but I didn't see anyone kind of doing what our idea was and our kind of aesthetic and the way we deliver products and the way we film and edits, and I hadn't seen that in town. So seeing what we were doing and seeing the potential in it, I just got to do it, because you just feel it. You just kind of get that gut feeling where you're just like, dang, you know, like I feel it with my whole body that I need to do this. Like I'm meant to do this. It's such an amazing feeling when you're behind like our camera or even in front of clients, like talking to clients. You just like, it just comes naturally. I mean, it just kind of felt really right. So yeah, we did it, and I'm so happy that we did.
Any more questions?
How do you balance being with work partners and
That's a really good question. So,
we're still working on that.
yeah, we're still working
There are
on it.
no more date nights ever.
No, and
Our
it's-
date nights are editing next to each other on a computer.
Yeah, and it's so tough, you know, and it's like, luckily, like, we both love what we're doing and we love who we're doing it with. So, like, it's like, that's, like, really important, you know, it is, like, that balance. Like, it's kind of, like, it's hard sometimes when we're, like, editing and we're like, well, I love you and we should go out and do something, but, like, if we do, then we're gonna be bickering later on, like, why didn't we do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we really have to, like, balance that. And that's such an awesome question, though, because, like, we're still trying to figure that out, you know? Like, we're still trying to figure out how to do that. And, like, it's just something, like, recently that we've been, like, another goal that we've been setting is, like, we need to just, like, work a ton, but at least give ourselves, like, a week or something to just go out and, like, shoot for ourselves. Like, go take photos for ourselves, because that's what we fell in love, is taking photos together and of each other. So it's like, going back to doing that will help us a lot. But
Yeah, remembering why you started. That's good.
yeah,
But yeah, we're trying to get to a point where
Yeah.
we have a day,
Yeah.
one day a week where
Yeah.
but we haven't got there yet.
yeah. When we figure it out, we'll let you know.
Yeah,
for
let
sure.
you know.
Any more questions? All right, let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
So that was great to hear your story. We're going to have another entrepreneur conference next in April, so please join us for that. And we're really pleased to